Jordan Watt, thanks for joining. Excited to introduce this new feature to you all, and it should be ready for your use today. So yeah, during this time we'll be running through the new e-signature feature. This has just been a heavily requested feature throughout, a while, and so we finally have this ready. And this webinar here will just kind of introduce it. We'll do a little demo of it. We're not going to show all the setup, but then you'll have an opportunity to kind of sign up for a free trial of it after the demo if you're interested. So yeah, just in general, I think the signature collection process for fabricators introduces kind of a lot of managerial overhead. There's a lot of documents that need to be managed. There's a lot of parties that need to touch and look at those documents. Amongst all those documents, some of those documents need signatures. And currently, ActionFlow, there's not a great solution to send documents directly from ActionFlow. Get a legally binding signature on that document, and then receive it back to your ActionFlow job. There are other solutions to manually. There are other solutions through like PDF signature, but a lot of those require downloading and uploading and shifting things over. And it's very easy to just kind of lose touch of what's the most recent document, which document has a signature on it, which document do I need to send to my fabrication team, to my templating team. And so we're hoping with this new integration to kind of solve all of those issues. It should be very streamlined now to be able to attach a signature placeholder to one of your documents, likely a quote or an invoice, and then send that directly from ActionFlow to your recipient. And then when they complete that document, as you've seen with DocuSign or something like that, DocuSign is kind of the most common. They'll get a link, they'll sign it, and that document will get sent right back into ActionFlow and get placed in the job files. So that's kind of the summary there. We'll go through, we'll break it down, we'll show the different features and just kind of like the bonuses, call them the bonus features of that. So what does the e-signature offering consist of? So the big one here, and this is about 80 to 90% of it, is just this number one box right here. You get to deliver legally binding and security compliant signature requests directly from ActionFlow. So in this screenshot here, I have an estimate for our test ABC countertops. There's going to be a little S signature button right here. So that's sign now. You will click that, you will put in a recipient, and then you'll send it. And then that document will be received by the recipient. They will open up that link from their email, and then in the same kind of format that you've seen with like DocuSign, they'll have these little placeholders here where they can put their signature in, their print, their date, their initials. This is all customizable. And then you can hit complete, and that document with the signature on it, the legally binding, security compliant, encrypted signature gets sent back into the ActionFlow job files. So that's about 80 to 90% of it just right there. That's the bulk of the feature. That's the bulk of the request. It's pretty straightforward, but you have the capabilities to do that now. Some of these other additional features, offerings, bonuses that I want to cover is any documents that you send from ActionFlow and then receive back from the recipient after it's been signed will get automatically dropped into this e-signature docs folder. So when you send it without a signature and it's pending, it will get placed in there. So you'll have a record of it. When it is completed, the signed document will be automatically placed back into that e-signature docs file. So whatever teams, whatever management, whoever needs to access the signed copy or the unsigned copy can go right into the job and access that file. The other automatic things that take place is you've got action tracking that happens. So when a document is signed or when a document is sent, there will be an automatic action that gets put into the job history that signifies a document was sent. So if you can see this, I know it's a little small, but it says signature requested to jordan@test.com. And then you can't see it, it's cut off over here, but there's a little date So management, PM, sales reps, if they want to know if a document has been sent already, they'll be able to open up the history and see what the activity there is. On the same side of that, there will be an action that gets placed when a signature is completed. So this one says signature completed from Jordan at ActionFlow completed. It has a timestamp there. Once again, visibility within the sales reps, the management, the owner, whoever needs to know the history of the signatures for that job can always pull up the actions history of that. The last piece is when a signature is completed, there will be a little comment action that is attached to the job that will tag, I believe it's the project manager there. I can follow up on that. That will tag the project manager for that job to notify them that the signature has been completed. And then that's not a done action. That is not a completed action, but it's just a pending action. So whoever needs to be notified is notified. And we'll do the demo, and then there'll be a chance to ask questions there. But we'll just get through all this first. The other thing is you get advanced document management tools through the SignNow portal. So SignNow, there's a bunch of different services that offer digital signatures, legally binding digital signatures. DocuSign is probably the most prominent one. It's a very expensive and premier tool. There's a bunch of other ones out there for, we deliberated a pretty long time to figure out which one we wanted to go with. We ended up on SignNow. And SignNow, yeah, just the combination of customer service, combination of reviews, combination of ease of use, combination of price. SignNow seemed to make the most sense for us. So SignNow is when I say SignNow, that is the signature service that ActionFlow is using. So if you would like to pursue e-signatures with ActionFlow, the integration here, SignNow is our provider there. And basically what that would consist of is you would have ActionFlow has a parent organization, a parent subscription to SignNow. And then every organization, they call it, or every enterprise that wants to sign up and use the integration would basically be a sub-organization underneath ActionFlow's parent organization. And this is probably a little bit too much detail, but just I kind of want to explain the structure here. So once one of the enterprises signs up, they'll be under ActionFlow's parent umbrella subscription. And then we basically are allocated signatures as the parent signature or as the parent company, and then we can distribute those signatures to our child organizations. With SignNow, though, you kind of get all of the offerings. I'll pull this up. It's just like the web page here. You kind of get all of the offerings of like a DocuSign or some of these other services. So you get to see all of your documents here that have been sent from ActionFlow. And then you have greater capabilities to kind of manipulate the documents in here, manage the documents in here. You can cancel documents, you can resend documents, you can notarize documents. So the integration basically just takes your ActionFlow document, sends it, and then puts it into this system. And then when it's completed, the integration sends it back to ActionFlow. But once it's in this system, you have capabilities and access to a lot more tools and management capabilities within SignNow. So once you sign up with the integration, you will have a SignNow subscription underneath ActionFlow's umbrella. And yeah, there's a lot of things you can do there. You can see the status of things, you can see up-to-date documents, you can see if things have expired, you can see if things are pending, who you're waiting on. There's a lot you can do in there. Number 5 down here. So you will have complete control over which reports can have that little S. I'll go back here. So here's that little S that will cue an email pop up. So you can control which reports in your system have this e-signature capability. You can also control which users have this e-signature capability. So it's not going to be everyone in your business can pick a report and send it out. It's going to be specific users that you define, and then we or your account manager will kind of open up those capabilities to those users. So you've got complete control. The admin, the owner, whoever it may be, has complete control over who has access to this. Number 6 here, and this is kind of a cool piece of SignNow, and maybe this is too much detail again, but we're going to go into it. So the way SignNow integration works and how it finds where to put those little fancy placeholders, those signature placeholders, is it's going to look for text tags. And so if you look in here, I know it's a little small, but there's like some code in there that's just normal text. When you send the document out through SignNow, SignNow basically iterates through your document and looks for these codes or these tags in here and then replaces those things with the fancy signature placeholders. And the cool thing about those are they're very customizable. So you can always choose the location of those. If you want to do a bunch of initials or something for some bullet points, and we'll have an example on that later, you can do that. You can determine like roles and owners and labels for those. So those are completely customizable. We have a suggestion on the 4 main ones, which would just be initials, date, signature, and then print name. Those are kind of the defaults, and you've got access to those. But if you wanted to go exploring down kind of rabbit hole of SignNow documentation, you can, and you can kind of figure out which ones you want to use. This last piece, number 7 here, is you've got visibility into the usage and monthly allocation in the admin tab. So again, it's a little small here, but within your admin tab in your enterprise, there will be a new line that you should all see that says current e-signatures per month, which would be your how many you sign up that you want to use per month. And I'll explain that later. You will also have remaining monthly e-signature requests. So that's just how many are left for your allocation for the month. And then if you're running low, you always have the option to purchase additional signatures. There's a little button. Okay, so now I think we'll do the walkthrough, and then there will be a chance to ask some questions. So think of this from the context of a user that has already configured and set up their e-signature functionality. There is some setup that if you would like to use this feature, that you would set up with your account manager, and they'll walk you through it. But we're assuming that everything has been set up. You've been using this for years, and I just kind of want to give a demo of the functionality there. Okay. So here is our ABC test account. Just bear with me for a second. Okay, so I've got this is just the test job here in our test account. Let's assume that this job is ready for final confirmation. Basically, this e-signature feature is not meant to be a bulk send out of feelers or a bulk send out of estimates, all the different revisions. This is supposed to be the point of this e-signature feature is to get final confirmation. Your company, your business needs a legally binding signature from a contract from a customer that you are cleared to go through this job or work on this job. That's the intention of this e-signature. So we are assuming that this test job right here, 4290, is ready for final confirmation. And before we go through that, I'm going to do one more thing and show you the admin tab right here. So right now with ADC, you can see current e-signatures per month has 50, current remaining 45, and then I can always purchase more here if needed. And I'm going to show you once I send this, that number should drop to 44. So I have gone through already and set up a estimate report with the SignNow signature. So if I open this and run this, you should see that little icon, that little S icon right there. I'm going to minimize that. Like I said, you've got control over which reports have that little icon. So this subtotal 1 does not, because I haven't configured it to do that. I don't want this report to have that SignNow capability. I just want certain estimates to be able to be sent out. So I just wanted to demonstrate that there. Okay, so I'm going to hit that little button there, and I'm going to send this to everyone's favorite account manager, Poseidon. Boom. So once that gets sent out, I will show you the subsequent actions that take place. So that's done. I want to show you this admin tab right here so we can see that has dropped down to 44. And then if I refresh the job, and I go into the history, there's the signature requested that was sent to Josiah today at 1:17 p.m. And then there's this fancy new folder right here that says e-signature docs. If I open that up, there's the estimate that was sent at 1:17 p.m. to Josiah. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing, and then Josiah, from the perspective of the customer, the contractor, the builder, whatever it may be, is going to show you what he gets on his end.
So I'm here in my email, got the email from everyone's favorite Chief Information Officer, Jordan Watt. And I'm going to go ahead and hit View Document. Let it load. Lovely logo. Follow the prompts. Here's the estimate out of ActionFlow. There's the signature, the print name. Oh boy. Complicated last name. All right, and then just hit finish. And that's it for me.
And then can you show just your email? You should get a confirmation. I think you should. Yeah, there it is. So the customer or the builder, whoever it may be, receives that and just said, you've signed this. Cool. So I will take back over. Thank you, Josiah. So then if I refresh the job again, 4290, after Josiah has completed the signature, we can see now, I'll go to actions history first, signature completed. I guess you completed it. Okay. So good job, Josiah. We got the notification there that it was completed. If I go, here is the action that was added, and it says signature completed by Josiah at that time. It was tagged to, I think, the project manager there. And then there is a new file in here that was dropped, and then it's the end there is signed. If I open that up, there are Josiah's pretty signatures right there, and his date and his printed name, all within the job files right here. I'm going to do one more example, and then I think we can get an opportunity for questions. So assume that we just didn't do that. I'm going to send another document out that we have prepared to show the initials. So that was signature, print, and name. I want to show you the initials and what that might look like, because I know that would be applicable as well. And Josiah, once I send this, I'm going to ask you to hold off because I want to show. Okay, so that has been sent. I'll show the administration there. It's now 43. If I pull up that SignNow portal, again, everyone, once you, if you proceed with this, once you have access to the e-signature feature, you'll have your own SignNow subscription. If I refresh this, we should see this estimate SignNow, the initials, and it says waiting for others. That other one that Josiah just completed is signed. And you can see Josiah at ActionFlow. There's the signers. So we know that this one is still pending, waiting for Josiah to sign. All right, Josiah, back to you.
Similar process. Kind of feel weird narrating this, but also feel weird not narrating it. So bear with me. Similar report.
These configurations were all made in the footer HTML of your report. So this is the footer, and then there, and I set this up beforehand, but you can go through and then you can initial all of those there. And then complete it.
Is that all you needed from me?
I think that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take back control. So there's kind of the, not to like be anticlimactic there, but that's about the functionality. That's about 80 to 90% of it. I mean, we're looking for some way to send digital signatures and receive digital signatures back. There's the functionality. I think we looked at this a little bit, the SignNow portal. So once that document goes out, I'll just pull that up again. This should, once we refresh this page here, we should see that has been signed by Josiah. So we always have, once it's been sent from ActionFlow, we always have access in here to kind of, again, see the statuses, check, manage documents that may be pending. You can notarize there. You've got different capabilities within here to merge and move and send again. So there are just a lot of capabilities that you can do within the actual portal of SignNow. And then the e-signature placeholders. So like I said, the text tags in SignNow are specific combinations of symbols that basically you can place anywhere and wherever within that footer HTML of your reports. SignNow recognizes those, puts those little placeholders, the little fancy placeholders that are the legally binding, security compliant, all of those boxes that need to get checked there through SignNow service. It recognizes those, places those there. I'll pull up what that kind of looks like real quick in the report configurations. I'll get this initials one. So if I look up there, you can say enable e-signatures. I know I called that out. Something like this estimate, like none of these have the capabilities, but these do. If I open up the footer here, you'll see those little text signatures here, those little text tags all throughout the footer. So you can kind of move these wherever you want. You can put whatever verbiage you want in your footer HTML. I think everyone's familiar with that, but now you kind of have the capabilities to actually put those legally binding placeholders in there. And so with that, we will talk about just some best practices, some additional considerations. We'll also talk about the cost here in a second, but just kind of wanted to open it up now to the group to see if there are any questions about this base functionality here. Josiah, I don't know, just leave it in the group or off mute. Okay.
Feel free to unmute yourself or throw questions in the chat as well.
Did you go over the cost on this?
I have not yet. We will cover that, but I kind of wanted to give an opportunity to just talk about just any questions about the functionality here.
Does this work for external documents that we import, as well as, let's say, when we upload our template documents and we've edited them, whatever, and we've got our final templates in there? Are we able to send the template drawings for signature with the program as well? Or is it specifically for estimate?
It is so it is going to be only for the integration is just for inherent built-in ActionFlow reports. So yeah, I was doing an estimate example, but really if there's any report in that report configurations tab that has a footer, you can attach a signature to it. But as far as like specific to your company, we've got our own standardized, we've got our own formatted reports. This will not work with that.
Hey, Jordan, I hadn't thought, what if they put that same code in to one of their own PDF files? Could that work, that signature code?
It may work, but I don't think that it may work. But I think the main benefit of the integration is to be able to send directly from ActionFlow, right? So I think they may be able to do that, and believe it or not, haven't validated that. But I would say that kind of gets away from the whole point is document management within ActionFlow. And so, because I think everyone already has their own way to handle digital signatures, whether that's through DocuSign, but there's just a lot of manual overhead with uploading and downloading and uploading and downloading, and just kind of inputting whatever numbers it is. So this integration is not meant to solve whatever custom reports you have for your own business. This integration is meant to solve the document management problem of sending things, of having to download, upload, drop in your signatures through DocuSign, whatever it may be, send those off, get those back, download, and then upload them back up into ActionFlow.
Okay.
So
Is that kind of fair there? Just talk about the distinction between those.
I get that, but it kind of also defeats the purpose of having all the document management within ActionFlow, because we do keep all of our documents within ActionFlow, including our actual template documents, right? So we pull in our PDFs, we pull in our PDF to our computer, we mark it up, whatever. We then send a separate email to our customer for approval, and we upload that to ActionFlow after we've sent it. If we were able to mark up our document, save it into ActionFlow, and send it directly from ActionFlow to our client for signature, which we do with DocuSign on some of our clients, that kind of is more advantageous and effective than still just being able to do estimates for signature. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Diane, I understand what you're saying, that you have some documents that are basically just standard PDF documents, and you ask for signatures on those.
Mm-hmm.
And
there is a signature line. There is actually a customer signature line on our template document.
And I guess you must have the full version of Adobe because you're creating those PDF documents yourself.
Mm-mm.
We'll investigate.
Our LT program, we use the LT55, the Raptor. We use the Raptor program in the LT55. So when the template is done, it does generate a PDF, and that's the PDF that we mark up and import to ActionFlow and also send to the customer for signature. And there is a signature box on that PDF.
Do you have the ability to edit that PDF after it's produced by Raptor?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We mark it up with the additional information after template, and that's what we send for signature.
Okay. Well, I don't think we're going to promise anything right now, but we'll investigate that.
Mm-hmm. And I can provide, if you guys want, I can send you one of our shop sheets so that you can play with it.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that? Whoever, maybe your account manager is, send that over.
Okay.
Reese, I got a comment. This is Roderick, Fab Choice. In most of the templating systems that generate PDFs, you can edit what the PDF will say and what it is, and then so therefore you could embed the code that on each of those PDFs that comes out of your template system.
That I'm thinking that, and then the last piece is, could we consolidate, like if there's 3 or 4 PDF files, could we consolidate that into one signature package? That's one thing I'm a little unsure of, whether, like, if you do have, like, if there were, I don't know, an estimate produced by ActionFlow and 2 or 3 attachments or whatever, how would we consolidate, how would we get that into the SignNow program? So I think I understand the question, and we'll we're not going to promise anything right now, but we'll investigate that.
Okay.
The only way it could go through, though, is you'd have to have a default ActionFlow report that would allow you to click that little icon And then I believe the traveler documents, the attachments, if they have the code embedded in the PDF natively, then it'll go along for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the ability. It's been there a long time. I don't know how many people are taking advantage of it, but we do have the ability to attach like hard-coded PDF files to an email that we send from ActionFlow. Like, here's your standard disclaimers or something like that. So yeah, we'll dig into that. Because we really do want to make this as functional as possible. We want it to make your lives easier. And if that's one more way we could make your lives easier, that would be something we'd like to do.
There are 2 questions just in the chat. Alec, currently, no. Currently, the way the things are talking to each other is, so Alec in the chat asked if there was a way within the SignNow portal to see an actual job name, which is a great call out. Right now, it is not configured that way, but that would be an easy change. So I put a little note down that makes a lot of sense to be able to drop in the job name just in the title of that before getting sent out. So that makes a lot of sense there. So thanks for calling that out. See, for your question, ActionFlow generates a footer requesting initials on each page. Can this be modified to add the SignNow initials? So that's a good question. Out of the gate, the functionality does not allow that as it's working right now. So basically, the report gets rendered, and this is technical speaking here, so hopefully the report gets rendered, and then the footer gets added at the end. So that footer HTML is just one instance of that. There could be 20 pages and then one footer. SignNow is it's not looking at each page and iterating through those pages. It's just looking at the footer at the end and then trying to find those text tags. However, that is possible to do, but it would have to be, like right now, I was showing the estimate report in that demo. What we would have to do is we'd have to basically create a new estimate report, and we'd call it estimate with page initials or something like that. And that would be possible to do. But on the back end, the estimate report and the estimate with initials report would be 2 actually separate reports. It's not just duplicating the estimate report and changing the configurations. It would be a completely separate report. So if there's enough people that would be interested in having, a standard estimate, a standard invoice, a standard quote report that has the initials on each page, that should be possible to do.
Jordan, this is Roderick again.
Yep.
Can you just touch briefly on what you anticipate the fee to be per email that is sent out for e-signature?
Can we cover that in a second, Roderick?
All right. I thought you were.
Yeah, no. All good. This is kind of just we're covering functionality, but I've got probably another few slides just kind of about the pricing there. Are you just asking about pricing, just to make sure?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. No, so I'll cover that in a second if there aren't any more questions about the functionality here.
Reese, this is Erica. I just had a follow-up question from the one before. We do work through Home Depot, and there's certain forms that need to be signed. So it would help us tremendously if we could get away from what we're currently using and utilize ActionFlow. So I just wanted to put that in there. I didn't know if I needed to send any documents to you for that.
Yeah, that would, we have had in the past, and it's been a while back, we had Home Depot documents, and we were basically able to duplicate those in ActionFlow. And, we have several customers doing that. So the answer is, yeah, send us those documents, and that'll be it. If we can do it on these other ones, I'm pretty sure we can do it on the Home Depot ones as well. So we would try to do that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give a few seconds here if there are any more. Okay, so pricing. This is a little wordy, so feel free to read through this. I'll talk through each of these as well. we're pretty excited about this. We think it's a pretty seamless feature. You can finally send documents from ActionFlow, get those documents right back. You don't have to manually scan anything. You don't have to manually input anything. Everything is handled there within ActionFlow. All your parties have access to it. And we'd love to offer this for free, but unfortunately we can't. And there are a few reasons for that, and I just kind of wanted to break that down. So the first one is there is a pay-per-use cost structure. So every time an e-signature is generated, so that is every time you click send, that little icon button, and send that out, there's a cost. ActionFlow incurs a cost for that. So this is kind of one of the few features within ActionFlow where we are getting charged every time a signature goes out. And so we subsequently, to make this sustainable, to make sure we're not getting killed by this, we're going to charge for it. Why is there a charge for these signatures? And that's kind of above my pay grade, but all of these digital signature services that are legally compliant, that are legally binding and security compliant, there's just a long list of things that have to go that these signature placeholders have to go through. And I was kind of doing some research on it. It was a bunch of acronyms that I didn't know what they meant, but it was, yeah, they have to be legally binding. They have to be security compliant. And there is a cost associated to the encryption and to the validation of these signatures. And so we looked at 10 different signature providing companies. SignNow made the most sense. SignNow had the best price point. But all of the 10 that we looked at had the same kind of pricing structure where they were charging on a per use signature basis, because it is legally binding. This is not just like a drawing or something like that they sent in through a PDF. These are digitally significant. Competitive pricing. So we did look at a bunch of different options. Like I said, the DocuSign is probably the most prominent one, and that's also the most expensive one. It is the premier tool, and they charge about $3 per signature. So every time you click that little icon, if it was instead of an S, if it was a D, and you click that D, it charged about $3 per signature to send one of those things out. So there are other ones, then the price kind of varies, but generally we saw those all kind of coming out to about $3 per signature. So then you'd say, well, if I went into DocuSign right now and I tried to sign up for a monthly subscription, I could get unlimited signatures for $50 a month or something like that. And yes, you absolutely can. And the reason so with all of those signature providers, there are two kind of services. There's the monthly subscription where you upload your PDFs and you drop in your signature placeholders and you send it all from that portal. And then all of these signature providers also offers an integration option, which would probably say like API. It'd be one of those things at the top. And the API integration, which is what we're doing with ActionFlow and this whole e-signature offering, runs by a different pricing model. And all of the signature providers kind of run by this pricing model as well. So our hands were a little tied because it's just kind of, I guess it's the industry standard with how signatures are handled. So yeah, it's different than a monthly subscription. This is a technical integration because we have basically taken their technology and put it into our system and our software. So because of that, we're paying a premium there. The last piece is the monthly allocation. So the pricing structure for SignNow, and like I said, the other signature providers there, they operate on kind of a monthly schedule. So we incur monthly charges for the signature allocation that expires. So aligning to that, and then also aligning to our current monthly billing structure, we've structured our pricing so that basically we'll sign up for an allocation for each month that will expire at the end of each month and then reset at the start of each month. So again, that kind of helps us just to handle the cost incurred on us. It helps us with the sustainability and just kind of gives us greater management over kind of the allocation and usage of the signatures. So yeah, again, we're excited about this. We'd all love to offer you it for free. Hopefully with those points that I just ran through, you can kind of understand what we're looking at here. And then here's the moment of truth here. this is kind of the pricing that we're looking at. And hopefully this doesn't come as a shock given the things I just talked about. But we kind of landed on these prices and thought these gave you enough flexibility to determine what made the most sense for you. And yeah, there's just enough options in there to hopefully be helpful and hopefully be usable. A few best practices that I do want to call out. These are not meant to be sent out in bulk for every single time you need a feeler or an estimate or a confirmation. These signatures are meant to be final confirmation because of the magnitude of having that legally binding signature on there. This is not, I don't think the intention when we put this thing out is for you to be sending these things out, 20 times a job. This is 1, 2, maybe 3 times a job to be sent out to have that digitally significant signature on your contract.
Jordan?
Some other best.
Just quickly, Jordan, just so that we can intertwine this at the same time. If there is on each user in the system, each login can be defined as to who can send an e-signature. So you could also limit the individuals who can send, and therefore also protecting the number of e-signatures you're sending out and the cost per month.
Yeah, correct. If you just wanted it to be one person, one project manager, give them the capabilities to send out signatures and just them. If you are like, I could worry about $3 per signature and I want to give it to everybody in my company, that's definitely an option as well. But I would say ensure you are providing access to only those that need access to these signatures. Also, Roger, to your point, you can configure the various reports to use this feature. So if you can restrict, you can only have maybe just one estimate, one quote, and one invoice that utilizes this feature instead of attaching it to every single document. And then we are hoping, monitor your usage and allocation throughout the month. We've got that little thing on the admin tab to show how many you've got left, and you can always purchase a la carte signatures. Obviously, we are charging $5 for those a la carte signatures because that's just some time on us that we need to go through and actually have to manually update those counts. So that's a little bit more headache on us. But if you can monitor those and make sure you don't run out, we recommend that. That last point there is this is a premium service. We realize that it is expensive. We don't love how expensive it is. And if you're able to, I would say if you're able to manage your documents just fine, and you're happy doing the DocuSign monthly subscription and just kind of manage it, and you're figured out effective ways to download and upload and sign and get those copies to ActionFlow, then maybe this is not the best tool for you or make the most sense financially for you. If you're struggling a little bit with those documents and making sure documents are getting in the right hands, then maybe it is worth spending, $2, I guess, what's the margin here? Like $2.25 to make sure that we can get that document out and back per job and make sure all the necessary parties have access to it.
I have a
Jordan made a
question.
question in the chat.
Yep.
Wait, Diane, go for it.
Sorry, I was going to ask if you don't use all of your monthly package, does it roll over to the next month, or you don't use it, you lose it?
We're going with if you don't lose it, you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And so that's, again, just kind of this last point here. That's how it matches our billing structure. And then also just the stipulations that were kind of applied to us from the parent SignNow organization and other SignNow or other digital signatures. It is a monthly charge for us that does expire as well. So we're just kind of pulling that model down, again, for sustainability, for management, for our end as well.
Okay.
Which isn't ideal for you all. And it's not ideal for us either. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, and we did try to, we intentionally put a lot of tiers, like, every 20, rather than jumping by 50 or 100. So a lot of tiers to try to keep you from buying signatures you're not using.
Question, and if you go over, you can't. So we do have that, basically that counter. Once that reaches 0, it's blocked out, and you no longer have access to it. You've used up your allocation for that month. You can always a la carte signatures if you need. If you need one, it's time crunch. You need to get this a signature on a contract day of. You can always purchase the a la carte signatures, and there's that little button that'll get sent to me, and that will get sent to your account manager, and we can update your count. Or you can always just bump up if you seem like if you start off at 20, and that's kind of what we recommend. Start off on 20, see how much you use. If you're blowing through them in the first week, maybe bump it up to 40. And then the billing there, you can work with your account manager on this. The billing there works like you're not charged extra for it. You're charged with whatever the rate is. So we're not going to double charge you if you need to bump up your subscription in the middle of the month. You can do so the question, do you have to do the monthly subscription, or can we just purchase each signature when we need them for $5? You can purchase them when you need them for $5. That's absolutely an option. Obviously, you're paying more per signature there, just because there's some manual overhead for us to kind of allocate those out.
And Jordan, just as a specific example, say they bought 20 for $45. They get 2 weeks in, and they think for the month they're going to need another 20. So they should have bought 40. So at that point, they could get another 20 for an additional $45.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll just be, Jordan's kind of been up front with, but like I think our average ActionFlow user is, I don't know, $800 to $1,000 a month. So, if you say 100 signature requests, well, that's 25% of what you're paying for all of ActionFlow. So that might, when you look at it that way, it might seem like a big deal. But again, we're constrained because we're paying per signature. But the other thing I would just really like to emphasize is, this is like $2 to $3 per signature. And if you think of, even your hourly rate, you're paying your people $30, $40 an hour, and all the effort you're going to send these out. And it's not like just one time. You got to upload it, you got to send it, then you got an email, then you got to download it, then you got to put it in here. I mean, there's a whole lot of effort and a whole lot of pain to get a signature. And for, in the range of $2 per signature, you can send it out once. You don't have to modify anything. This comes back, and just to emphasize, it goes right into your ActionFlow file folder for that job. So it goes out. You don't have to do anything. A day or two later, it comes back. You got a note in your ActionFlow that it came back. So the amount of time and effort that this saves is very significant. And we do think it can be a huge time saver and a huge saver of effort for our clients. So we hope you agree with us on that. We'll, we are going to be asking, feedback, and we'll see how this goes as we roll it out. But we think it could be a huge time saver and just save a lot of effort and energy.
Yeah. And so one more quick thing in closing, just to kind of fire back on that, Reese. We have, demoed this with some of our clients as well, and got good feedback there. The main benefit being the document management. Having it all there in the job files for all parties to access was just a huge headache saver there. So that was kind of the overwhelming feedback from some of our clients that we're able to test this with. So yeah, and we hope that you all are able to take advantage of it. The last point here, there's a promotion going on.
Hey,
for
Jordan.
Go ahead.
Real quick.
You ruined my big surprise.
Oh, sorry. But Chauncey asked a question. The
Oh.
notifications that a signature came in, I think that we do create actions, and I think that, do we have that? Would that show up in the do now list for the user?
It will get tagged to, I believe, the project manager, but it's probably configurable about who that action is tagged to. So let me pull this up. I think we have it right now. It's going to. So this
Okay,
this
there it
comment,
is.
this
Well,
was.
And that would show up in the do now list for Bill, right? Because it's not completed.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
We go to Bill.
So
Bill's
yeah,
got
there you, I mean,
161.
there's, so when you get these signatures back, you'd get a notification in your do now list of the signature came in. So that's one more nice little feature, is that it will show up in your do now list. And hopefully your do now list has less than 161 items. This is our sample. So that you shouldn't use that as an excuse to have 161 items in your do now list.
Right. Okay, so now here's the promotion. For those that are attending this webinar, we kind of wanted to offer you all the first chance to get your hands on this and get in the sandbox there and kind of get a feel for the functionality here. So for those that were a part of this webinar, we've got the list here. We would like to offer setup and 10 free signatures for the rest of October. And Josiah has just sent a form in there. So if you in the chat, so if you click on, and the little chat button is up here. So if you click on the chat button, Josiah just sent that link there. That link will take you to, and I'm clicking on it now, a little type form here. You can do your first name, last name, email, your preferred email, and then your company name if you would like to sign up for this setup and this promotion of 10 free signatures. Please, if there are multiple, we don't need multiple people from the same company submitting these. So we just need one entry per company to submit one of these. And then your account manager, I believe, will be able to contact you about next steps.
2 questions.
Yep.
So on the normal monthly package, is there an initial setup fee?
No, there's not.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
then on the if we sign up for the 10 free signatures, is there a time limit that we have to use them in?
We would hope that by the end of the month you've been able to kind of get a feel for it. Yeah.
Okay.
So those will expire at the end of the month. So we'd kind of recommend, if you would like to explore this, if you'd like to get into it, obviously it's available at all times to sign up. If now's not the right time, there's no real need to sign up now. But if you want to take advantage of the 10 free, we'd be happy to kind of get you set up to see if this makes sense for you.
Okay.
Cool. And I think with that, that should be about all we had for you today. I appreciate the time. Please feel free to reach out as you all get in there. And if you take advantage of the 10, always happy to hear some feedback about it, about what would make it better. So thank you for everything.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Josiah.
Thanks, guys.